Just wanted to ask you a personal question about
Go ahead.
so like when you were at with the beautiful lady at um, Mason's Hotel, and Leo
Yep.
and Zig were like, "Yo, man, come to the whatever." You went to rehearsal, right? And you tried to
Right.
sing this Jeffrey Osborne tune,
Yeah.
and they were like, and you were like, and you said you were not. This is what you said. You said I was not cocky, which I means to me that means like
Right.
confidence. And you said self confidence. You said, and those guys are like, we've heard you sing, we know you can sing. And my question is,
Yeah.
at that point in your career with your brother's band, were you? Why didn't you believe in? I mean, obviously you believed in yourself, but did you feel your career had plateaued at that point?
No, not quite. No, not really. The thing about it is, for my band, David Batiste and the Gladiators, I sung, as I said, I did the wonderful song by Tower Power with Lenny called "Can't You See." That
Yeah,
was
I
one of
know, man. That's
my
killer,
main.
man.
And then early on, in King David and the Gladiators, I would do some Snook songs like "Feeling Sad and Lonely" and "Trick Bag" by Earl King. So I would do some singing, but I always would hire a fantastic vocalist. I mean, some guys would come along, some girls would come along,
Right.
and they sound so well until I just couldn't resist not having to put them in the band and relegate myself to playing some keyboards. And that's why I said I'm glad my nephew John called me one of the world's greatest entertainers, because he didn't say musician. I'm glad he.
No, see, you know what? I freaking love it, dude. So yeah, you weren't singing a lot at that time, so you hadn't.
Right.
Yeah, I dig.
And so I had great people singing. Like I had Cyril Neville from the Neville brothers singing with me.
That is so beautiful to hear that, man.
I had Tony Owens, another great voice out of New Orleans.
Wow.
Malin Barbaran, one of the great female voices.
Wow.
Sheila Allen out of another great voice. Linda Coleman, another great voice. Gloria Woods, another great voice. I mean, just Warren Thomas, better known as Plooch. Talk about a hoodlum. Plooch. Warren was the type of guy when you even if you black, you cross the other side of the street.
Jeez, man. I don't want to mess with that cat, man.
Yeah, he's about 6'1", bro, menacing looking brother, bro. But he was one of the funniest, when you met him, and one of the kindest guys as a friend. And he made you somewhat be a man, because Warren was in and out of jail, and he was homeless at one point, living, pillow to post. And he was kind of rough on life, was kind of rough on him. But could he sing and control the audience? Man, we played in the town. I'm not even gonna call it a town because
too generous. Yeah.
I'm not gonna call it a town because a very, 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 very famous person come from that town, and we rode through there with King Floyd with that hit "Groove Me."
Oh,
and we lit the place up. And King Floyd got jealous of Warren, bro, because Warren, as I said, he could go from Sam Cooke to James Brown to Wilson Pickett. And we had those arrangements in our band because our band was just as good as any of those lead singers I just called their bands, because we ran across them while we was out on the road. Eddie Floyd's band, Wilson Pickett's band, the Satellites band, Al Green's band, Bernard Purdy and them. We were just as good as a performing band. They had the the thing over us because the artists they were traveling with had hit records. So when we start traveling with King Floyd, we had a hit record, and we right there with all of the major performing acts. And so we swept through this town, bro, and the lady who ran the top brothel in town fell in love with Warren.
Oh my God!
Fell in love with Warren, bro.
Oh.
And when we rode through this very, very historic, soulful town, bro, Warren.
Oh my God!
I'm leaving some of that alone.
Hey, I want to this is really important because this is where the rubber meets the road because you were an accompanist with a lot of the big acts, and I want you to talk about your experiences. This is from an interview I did with Charlie Neville. He said, in New Orleans, there was the Dewdrop Inn. It was a social center, and it was where all the cats played. That's where I first met and played with Big Joe Turner and Ray Charles. In Memphis, there was Sunbeam Mitchell's Club Handy on Beale and Hernando. In Mobile, Alabama, there was a place called Big Rose Joint. It was the same kind of scene where it was a social gathering place where people would come for the music, to dance, drink, and have fun. I remember in Tampa, there was Watt Anderson's Blue Room. That's the last place I played with Jimmy Reed. Johnny Ace was at Watts Anderson Blue Room. In St. Petersburg, there was Jack's Fiesta Club.
Wow.
Okay, so that was the Southern Chitlin Circuit. And I don't really care about the names of the clubs, but can you talk about talk about that Chitlin Circuit? Like, ultimately, even though you were backing up cats like King Floyd, how you learned to entertain.
We got out of there, and one of the great things about traveling with King Floyd, we got our own jobs out of that, because as I said, we had this badass band, and when King wasn't working, sometimes they'd hire us out to gig,
right?
Just a group. But one of the places I come to mind to me is A506 in Pensacola, Florida.
Wow.
Held about 3,000 people, 25 to 3,000 people. And you'd have people like Joe Tex, because I played there with Joe Tex.
Beautiful.
And other great, Bobby Marchand from New Orleans. We backed up Bobby and his traveling show. Abe's 506, and then there's Ray's Soul City in Panama City. Another hot spot, but Bobby Marchand packed that place.
Wow.
In Panama City, yeah. And also, we played there with Peggy Scott and JoJo Benson. They had a hit out called "Lover's Holiday," and they needed a kick-ass rhythm section, and they got us to back them up.
Oh my!
And we had Percy Stovall. Percy Stovall was one of the historic black booking agents, and one of the very few here in the South. So all in Chitlin Circuit places. But remember, man, I had to play my way out of little farms, out of the suburbs. All of this stuff in town, the Dewdrop Inn. We had Perkins Lounge out here in Kenner.
Right.
That Perkins, that's where O.V. Wright would come in.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Come on.
Nightingale, the Percy Sledge. And you hit that. And then we had Bell's Lounge, Johnny Adams, the great Tan Canary. Those were popping clubs out there in Jefferson Parish. Then you further down in La Place, you had a place called the Bluebird, which where all the top bands would roll through it and going up the river, up to St. James Parish on both sides of the river. Then you got Point Lahash across the river on both sides. Wonderful hot spots. I mean, places that draw hundreds of people. I remember we played out there. They must have had, it looked like 1,000 people waiting for us on the levee on side the thing. They come from both sides of the river, right?
Oh,
they were playing. They wanted some David Batiste and Gladiators, Daddy-O. And it didn't hurt that we had recently just got you playing with Bobby Romack, Betty Wright, the OJs.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, they seen us in the municipal auditorium, open up for all these great people. And then
that is. Wait, hold on. I want to just stop you for a second. When you're talking about that the band, so like Bobby Womack would roll through town, pick up the rhythm section of you, Cheatham, Peterson, and McGee.
No, when Romack and them would come through, but we'd be the opening band. We had to handle our own against those guys and their groups.
Wow. So he would come in, but I mean, when you would go on tour with Tex, or was that
when we like Percy Sledge, we'd be the band. We'd band up Percy Sledge.
And that would be like Cheatham, Peterson, and McGee.
So that's a few. Joe and them had left the group. And that's began Paul, Michael, myself.
Beautiful. So let's talk about that. Like, that was my question, was like how, it was a natural evolution in the band, but how did
it changed? Yes,
talk about that change going from
Gerald got married.
Yeah.
He, when Joe got married. After Joe, remember I told you about Dap?
Yeah, Dap. Yeah, Dap.
Well, Dap
Peterson,
had a
dude.
brother named Edgar, and Edgar played the bass. So Edgar got a chance to be a gladiator for a time, and the rehearsals would be at my house. So Michael was sitting around observing and learning from all of these great musicians that would come through. Another guy by the name of Frederick Smith.
Wow.
Everybody would just come to the house. See, my dad had the sweet shop, man. He had the
I did. Totally. With
all of the latest records that would come through. So when we wanted to learn records, we got a jukebox right there, man. And the guys would come in and change out the records, whoever got a hit and stuff like that, once a week. And so this was after Geraldine, though. So Geraldine was on in between 63 and 64.
I dig.
And then Paul was the guitar player and bass player when we went to New York. So that's 65.
Was Rat on there?
Ratcliffe was with us.
Rat,
George. Yeah, George had transferred from George. John Ross, remember Robert Griffin III's grandfather.
Right. I remember. Can't forget that. Yeah.
John is, and then from John, and then it Ratcliffe. I made it right. I actually had to make a decision at the time because John was so good, but to me Ratcliffe was just a little bit more funkier. John had the technique and speed and all the other great technician of a good drummer. But Ratcliffe was almost like myself as he taught himself. Right.
Greasy. It was greasy, man.
Yeah, he's funky. Like
this is so unbelievable. Yeah, so John just wasn't as funky, man. He didn't have as much time playing and making stuff up.
Yeah, so Rat and I, we hung together like a right hand and a left hand. And we would listen to music together more than my brother Paul and Michael. Because they were my younger brothers. And I didn't so much hang with them, but until we started practicing music and started getting ready for these talent shows and learning these songs. And my brother Paul, as I said, he was a great guitarist, man. And he, going through high school and stuff, Paul had, and Michael, because Paul was like in the 12th, Michael was in the 10th. Michael was about 2 years behind Paul in school, and I had already got out of school and was married at 17. So, it's
no. This is the question, because you made a very interesting point, and I want you to expand on it. You were from Kenner. You were from Littletown, I think you called it. Little Farm, which meant you had to actually bypass and get over the cats that were in New Orleans to get those gigs to go on the road with your brothers. Is that right?
Absolutely, man.
Dude. So you're.
They had great bands. I mean, they had. When we left King Floyd, he picked up another band by a guy by the name of Jimmy Moyer and his group.
Whoa.
So they, because we didn't have any. My brothers and I, and me as a leader, bro, we didn't know what animosity or jealousy or anything at all. And then me being an older guy with his two younger brothers in the band, I had to fight a lot of people, man. They wanted to take over my band, and they thought, that handsome smile was
you were no pushover, man.
Yeah, no, man.
Holy cow, dude.
No, bro. I challenged to fight 5 people at one time.
No, are you kidding me? Holy.
No, I'm not kidding. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yo, man, explain that. So, like, you guys start making it a name for yourself in Little Farm, cooking the groove. Then you go into New Orleans. Who was like the king of the hill that you had to overtake to get to Joe Tex and those cats?
Well, man,
because those cats wanted to fight you bad.
Yeah. Well, people, local promoters tried to take over the band, and people that were saw the advance and being managers and that. And once you're gonna take over the manager, that means that we're gonna take the money's gonna come from me first, and all the inexperienced stuff that we didn't have.
Sure.
We were just some young guys that loved music, loved to get out and perform, and that age old thing. It didn't, okay, yeah, we'll go out and do it. Let's, we'll play for nothing to do these gigs so people could hear us. You in love with the music.
Sure,
and
absolutely.
The art of performing, and when you walk out on the stage and 10,000 people screaming and hollering for you and everything else, and then when you come off the stage, they're screaming and hollering, asking you to come back again, and you knew you just hit them with your 3 of your brothers and your 2 sons, and they ain't never seen nothing like that. Here's the dad and his 3 brothers, and then he got 2 boys. He gonna come up. Russell was a beautiful little baby boy, and Damon looked like the lead singer for the Shylights. And they can play. That's the thing about it. That was the most fascinating thing. They played like old men, But we got those gigs through that. People were seeing us, giving us a call. The booking agent, Percy Slade, David Batiste, this is the Percy Stovall. We got a gig. Can you travel? Yeah. I'm excited. We want y'all. We got our first road trip. I want y'all to drive to Panama City far and back up Peggy Scott and JoJo Benson. They got a hit record called Lover's Holiday. We're gonna give you the record.
Oh, that is sick.
And
so wait, hold on. The promoter would call you guys, be like, "I'm going to send you the record," and then like, did you get gas money?
The booking agent. The promoter would call
booking agent. Yeah.
The booking agent.
Yeah.
The booking agent would call the hot bands.
Right.
And David Batiste and the Gladiators was one of the hot bands that's coming up. I didn't have no connection to Mighty by Engines. I didn't have no connections to the Dewdrop Ends.
Dude, I'm loving this, dude.
To none of that, We just came and played our ass straight into the scene. And they got tired of calling us country boys, Wait,
I want to be clear about something here. Would you say you didn't play? Did you play New Orleans proper with the first iteration of King David and the Gladiators, or was that in Kenner or in Little Farm?
That's New Orleans too. We did New Orleans. We hit some of the hot spots, bro. I remember this lady who was trying to manage us because my dad couldn't do it. He couldn't get us around. So we call her Mama. She was booking. She would go to the clubs and set it up, and then get permission from my dad because Paul and Michael was too young.
Right.
And in fact, the first one, I don't think Michael was there. Gerald was there. Gerald played bass, and we heard a guy. She brought us out to a club, and I can't think of the name. It wasn't a Dewdrop, but it was a club because you had a lot of Dewdrop-like clubs in the city, man.
Dude, I want to know them all, man. I want to know them all.
Oh, man, you had Silver Youth. You had the Whitest Devil's Den. You had Club 77.
Oh, my God.
You had Club Alhambra. You had the Bob's Green Door, Oh, man. Hells.
Dude, they were playing... Oh, my God, man.
Yeah, all these wonderful places where you can go here live. I'm talking about people like James Rivers.
Wow.
Oh, man, some of the best. If you like music, man, these people, some of them, like Sammy Burfict, he played in church as a church organist.
It's overwhelming. It's just, I guess maybe my point was, you are who you are today. You have developed, but what was the one thing you really, as a leader of the group, how did you grow as an entertainer? I mean, you just said, you're not going to be Ahmad Jamal. You're not a snobbish guy. You're not going to stretch out like Herbie. But, you're a bad musician and you're a great entertainer. But what was the one thing when you were really young that you had to work on in order to become that person to elevate over everybody else?
Playing the piano.
Just
playing
getting your
piano
chops
for me,
up. Yeah.
and getting fired up playing the piano, watching Jerry Lee Lewis and mimicking him
Wow.
and Little Richard. I love the way they attacked the piano, man. Especially Jerry Lee Lewis. He was like he's ready to pick it up and throw it in the audience, you know. So oh man, great balls of fire. And then for class, I'd watch Liberace, how calm and relaxed and how great he would sound, and some of the runs that he would make, you know, and just how stylish he was.
You gotta hit me to some of that stuff. I've never gotten into that.
Yeah, so Liberace and his brother George, who was a fantastic violinist, you know, and they had their show, and it was flair, you know,
right.
I mean, flamboyant, you know, and it wasn't over the top like this that they're going out with now, it wasn't over the top. You could tell that Liberace was gay. You know, even me at the 15, 14, you could tell.
Right. I mean, that was like people were trying to. They were digging the groove. You know, they were digging the feel.
Yeah. And that's it. I didn't care that was his personal.
Yeah,
life.
you're right, man.
The music is entertainment for them. You know, he entertained me, and I was a young black kid watching this white guy with all his hair and a cape on and jewelry and shit. You know, and wow. And then this other guy, Jerry Lee Lewis, he got a bottle of alcohol by his
right, on fire.
Yeah, you know, and then Little Richard, he even jumped on top of the goddamn piano, you know. So I said, man, they look like they're having fun. So I had to learn how to play the piano. First song that I learned how to play was called Cutout, and it was a 12-bar thing. I had to teach myself the changes and how you come out of a change and the turnaround. I didn't even know some of the slangs that they would have. When I would get in the city, I would just listen to some of these hip cats that are seasoned musicians. And I'm 17 years old, coming in these places. Most of the guys, Joe was 20, Dap was about 22, 23.
Right.
You know, everybody was older than me when I was 17 to 16, coming out and playing with these older guys. But I could hang with them, you know. And then they started my name started circulating. And you know, the Batiste, man, you got that Batiste guy.
Yeah, man, he can hang, dude.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Were you going to see like Willie T? Who were you going to? Who would you?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Oh man, please bring him back into the game.
Oh man,
boy, he's just teasing you. Yes, indeed. Man, Willie T, man, I got a chance to. We did something called Together where they honored Willie and myself.
Wow.
Together at the House of Blues called Ponderosa Stomp. And that was the last time I saw Willie alive. We were out at the hotel after the gig was over, and we was just laughing and talking on the sidewalk. The guy who made Scorpio, too. Dun, 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 dun,
Dennis Coffey.
Yeah, he was there, too.
That is so freaking bad. Wait, hold on. And then what happened? What happened to Willie, man?
We all performed at the Ponderosa Stomp.
Oh, my God. That is so...
Yeah.
No, but I guess I wasn't sure how he passed away soon after that, or that was the last time?
Yeah, somewhere within, that's 6 to 8 month period of time after we had that, met, and the Ponderosa Stomp was there, and then Willie passed. Found out he was in the hospital, and he looked fine when he was with us, but you never know what's going on.
So I just want to be clear, when you were going with Dap and those cats, they were a little bit older.
Like older, and they had to get the permission from my dad, man. And my father, would come out when he could. That's why this lady Mama came in, because my father trusted her. One of his patrons that would come to the sweet shop and drink beer and stuff, and trusted his sons to go with her to look at some of these other bands play. And she brought us to look at a place where we had to play after this group, man. And I didn't even know how good we were, but we were that good. We had to come on after Guitar Ray, man. Guitar Ray was like
Guitar Ray.
Yeah, Guitar
Yo,
Ray.
man, who was Guitar Ray, man?
Guitar Ray is one of the smoothest. You know, he was like the Guitar Slim. Who made that song? That thing I used to do. Yeah, well, he was like that. He played the guitar and he sang, and he had this hot band. But he had Nicholas Payton on bass, man, who was playing with him, huh?
Wow.
Google who Nicholas Payton is, man. See what I'm talking? That's the kind of heavy duty cats. But we were. I was just entertaining factor in the band.
Right.
You know, I could spin around with the keyboards. I can do stuff besides just playing and sounding good and making some nice runs. I would do something where the people would go, no, you didn't.
I love it, dude. People could stare at you for like 10 minutes just hanging out. It would, I dig it.
They would say, well, damn, did he just spin around and drop to his knees and crawl on the other side and play the piano from the other side of the piano?
Right.
And people hollering and screaming and everything else, and the more you people, adrenaline. So my improvisation, bro, was absolutely, and I always had the timing right. It's time to do this now. It's time to do that.
You mean like within the song structure?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So people started waiting to see me what I was going to do next. Play the keyboard.
Dude, dude, I would have been at every show of the Gladiators.
Yeah, people came to see us, bro, and we Paul played the guitar behind his back. Michael played the guitar with his teeth. Yeah. Right.
Wait a minute.
Right.
I mean, were you guys essentially like what was the longest tune? Would you play like pretty tight 3 to 4 minute tunes, or would you just jam out and like
we would get into a pocket, but we'd run a song like not just deep.
So which one of your brothers really were amazing improvisers?
Both. It's a 50-50 deal because Michael will go for it and Paul will go. Paul is like a George Benson.
Oh my God, dude! They're blowing to that. As many bars as they wanted, huh?
Yeah, you throw George Benson and B.B. King in there and Santana. And you got, right?
Oh man, that's pretty wicked, man.
And then you got George Duke and Stanley Clark. And then you got the guy, a big man who played with Stevie Wonder. That's how Michael. So you got the bass player that play like that can feel it and almost know where to go without even you telling them. And then Paul is playing the sweetest guitar licks like like that Bennett with that guy who played with Bobby Bland, man. Wayne Bennett playing stuff like that.
Wow, man, wow.
Yeah, so you getting the feel, you getting the religion. People is feeling it, and of course, low down Ratcliffe that playing some shit that he done made up.
The funkiest, dude. That's what I'm saying. You and Ratcliffe were this. So one more thing, I just want to put about because there's two guys that are in my spirit, and I never met them, and I never interviewed them, but they're with me on this journey. George Davis and David Lee.
Yeah. I just once again, though, bro, I would run across them. Everybody knew about David Batiste and the Gladiators, bro, but I didn't know about them.
That's what I'm saying. Anyway, those cats. I mean, because they played with Dizzy Gillespie. I mean, they could play jazz. To me, it's like, were you looked down upon even in New Orleans? Was there a degree of snobbery about the fact that you guys were what I call street scholars, especially not your brothers per se, but you and Rat? Were people still like, oh man, these cats are street scholars? They're not from the academy. They don't really know how to. They don't really know.
Yeah, we had that, but
I mean, the soul is always going to push you through.
They loved us anyway.
Dude, you just described the Jake Feinberg show, man.
Because they knew that we didn't care what they thought about us.
Exactly, brother.
We didn't care what you thought. We didn't care that you went to this institute, and I'm happy you stayed in your room and you practiced all that yet to learn that. And I just sit down and I just play that without having to go through, this shit you went through to play it, but that's just life.
Right.
So I'm happy for you that you're that, that you're that good but it's it still doesn't affect me.
What would be not for your kids or your grandkids, because they've all cut their own teeth and they're all blazing their own path, but there's a lot of younger cats out there today who are afraid to really be themselves. You got to where you are because you didn't care about the labels and the titles. You were going to go out and get yourself off and please the people and be in a... So, like, what would be your advice to cats to loosen up naturally, be themselves, be more of an entertainer than some kind of, riffology course? This is, to me, like, you could have all the chops in the world, but, if it doesn't feel good, I'm just going to stare at the wall all night.
Yeah, by me having to be able to listen to... And Ratcliffe and I, they said, bro, Rat and I.
Oh my God, dude, Rat, man.
We'd go to the bars. We would go listen to different bands. Hold 1 second.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah. It took. Yeah, that's why I said I had a limited amount of time because all they,
That's fine. No, we can.
No, she just coming. I'm letting her in the house.
Oh, right on.
She's down the street. So, but that's my whole career, man, has been like, we didn't care about how good you were or what institute you went to or what university you went to. Because we beat a lot of so-called good, great band, musical guys that went to this different high schools and everything else, but they didn't have, they didn't have that...
the vibe, man.
Yeah, they didn't have the vibe and the sweetness, and maybe they were a little bit too snobbish.
Exactly, man. I love it. But, I mean, this is the other thing. I mean, talk about how much you and Rat, I mean, to me, part of the issue today with some kids is that they don't really have any story to tell. It seems to me you guys had such authentic experiences in growing up with your dad that you actually were telling your story. You were telling your own story. So you didn't it wasn't like you were learning out of a book. You were making up your own book.
Yeah, as we went along, we made it up. It's improvisation.
Right.
We made it up
exactly.
As we were going along, man. Rat and I would hear stuff, and that's so when you got the drummer and you got the keyboard player, and sometimes I play the bass with my left hand and play chords and play a little melodies with my right hand.
Yeah,
and
right.
So you got me and Rat playing. And just listening to everything, listening to everybody. And we listen to Ray Charles, we listen to, just everybody, and put a mixture of everybody what we hear together, and make up our own music. So I'd make up the music, and Ratcliffe would give me a beat. Say, hey, Rat, give me a beat, man, and how this goes, and see if that fits in.
Right.
If it works, if it sounds good, good. If it doesn't, then we wouldn't mess with it. Just Rat and I had the love of that, and we had that ear.
Well, I mean, all you guys cared about was just like working out grooves together, playing off. I think that, so you guys were basically doing, a lot of the rehearsing was, at least at a certain point, it was piano and drums, and that's how you'd work out a lot of the tunes? Yeah.
Out of melodies, Rat and I would play, and if you just, all you have to do is listen to Funky Soul and hear how the organ is driven. That Funky Soul, even to part 1 and part 2, and how it's switched. If you really sit down and listen to it, all of the songs that the 2 songs, the 6-word high step, the cutout, all those songs that I was making up on the piano with a beat from Rat. And then all the other color stuff came on around it.
Wow.
Because me and Rat would say, give me a beat, Rat. And I would hear stuff, man. I remember going to the Club 77. And that's how I made Funky Soul. I heard something, and I tried to mimic what I heard, and it didn't come out.
Like it came out Funky Soul.
Yeah, right. So help me God. It came out Funky Soul.
Wow.
And so some of the other stuff that Rat and I would do would be, slow stuff intermediate sort of funk feel.
Sure.
But
sure.
we didn't listen to jazz. Radcliffe and I didn't listen to jazz. We didn't even listen to gospel music.
Dude, you are my favorite freaking. Is Rat still alive? By the way.
Yeah, we just played at a funeral together.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, you are my. I don't know. I'm dear friends with a lot of cats.
And I, bro, used to swim in the Mississippi River, jump off, dive off of the river, like in that song. Those guys, those little kids, stand by me. Me and Rat would do all kind of stuff like that. Go swim in the river, go fishing.
You know, I just say I just feel like you guys were such improv artists that, yeah, I mean, we could walk down the street and get 20 different definitions of the word jazz means, but you know, some of that stuff as you were stretching out, it wasn't like American Songbook, but it was spontaneous improvisation. That to me is jazz.
When you walk into the club and the people are going, first of all, they know you. They don't know what to expect, but they know you. They know it's going to be good, but they don't know what to expect. And as I said, for me, I would always have a great singer, always. And then sometimes you get one of the great vocalists out of the hood that the hood people know. And say, oh, yeah, Frank is a good singer in church, man. We don't know about him singing that secular music, but we're going to come see him anyway, so, because I mean, William, the McGee brothers, they sung in the Sanctified Church, bro. With that howling and stumping and people falling.
That's where the people falling out of the pews, holy rolling.
Yeah.
Did you go to that church ever with him?
No, man. To that, man, that was for Ratcliffe and myself. But that stuff was hilarious.
Wait, hold on. You and Rat don't take that seriously?
No, bro.
Come on, man.
No.
You and Rat were laughing it off, man.
That was hilarious, man.
Oh my God!
You see the people wearing the church.
Oh my God!
I remember one time, Rat and me, bro, they pitched up a tent and had a revival.
Right. I love that stuff, man.
Had the people running up and down the pews, running around to the church, man. And of course, we listened to how good the music sounded. Coming from the guys that were playing, because they would have a fantastic.
Oh my God, dude, the funkiest, greasiest band.
But Rat and I would hear the music and we'd make our own music out of that. But for us, we'd be snickering and looking like who inflated and fell out. We didn't believe none of that. What is that? Until you actually play it yourself.
Right.
And then you go, oh, wow, they were serious. I mean, because I feel like running up the pew, and being that the testimony person, and I could actually preach,
I believe.
Throw down heavy. Man, I throw down at the church. I didn't know how to. But once you know how to work an audience, whether you're a pastor or whether you Bob Hope, once you feel like you can work an audience, and you got their attention, then that's what the pastor has. He has everybody's attention. And you got you're reading from the Bible, and you're reading scripture and stuff. And then at the last part of all of the sermons, that's when the pastor go to work. He's almost singing the sermon.
Sure.
You get somebody like Paul Martin, have one of the greatest voices I ever heard in my life. Singing. If you look up Paul Martin, the pastor, that's P.J. Martin's daddy.
Okay.
Bruh. That's P.J. Martin's daddy, bruh. And I don't know if you know who P.J. Martin is right now.
I'm not. I mean, you're going out for me. I mean, I believe you. This cat was
He's young. He's one of the today musicians.
Right. But,
I dig. He traveled. He played with you too. I mean, yeah.
He's obviously a badass. I mean, totally.
Yeah, well, that's his father. That's his father.
Wait, so you went to his church and he would sing?
Rat and I would go to. We wasn't church goers.
You were snickering about that stuff, man.
Yeah, it was funny to me to see people running through the church, falling all around and everything else.
Dude, you would have been laughing at me, man.
It just, it was because I didn't understand it.
No, but you know what I really love though. They also it was like they incorporated the electric guitar in the music. It wasn't.
Oh man.
It was
Ooh.
sanctified. It was the Pentecostal scales.
Oh yeah, buddy.
Yeah, that was that's. I mean, the other stuff might have been too much for me too. But the music itself, that would have won the day.
And some of the stuff was bluesy like, man. Like don't let
very bluesy, very bluesy. Oh,
12-bar blues.
Totally, dude. Oh,
Christ in it, 12-bar shuffle. We gonna thank you, Lord. Thank you, gonna thank you, Lord. Thank you, we gonna thank you, Lord. Thank you, gonna thank you, Lord. Thank you, we gonna thank you, Lord. Thank you, we go. That's man. Come on, guitar strumming behind that.
Exactly.
The bass drum pumping. Bass drum is smacking that. George McGee, as I say, this foot would go through the bass drum, bro. At some point, we had to take the front end back to George. He had that heavy foot. And we would get into almost the stuff like The Nighttime is the Right Time by Ray Charles said we'd be playing that. It would sound so good until people would be violent, man.
McGee was so bad. What a badass, dude. I will say,
man, George and his brother, as I said, I didn't know that because I started working with George. And then George gradually introduced me to his brother William. That's the lead vocalist with us who helped win us the Apollo with Paul, Michael, and my.
Oh wow! Wow, I don't think I knew that.
And that was William and George, but I didn't know that they were the McGee brothers singing at this sanctified church. I didn't know the background of William that much, except he was a neighbor and he sung at the church. But one day, him and his brothers came by my dad's store, by that piano my dad bought from that white lady, and they sung in the living room. To my amazement.
Wow.
William, Varnell, George, and Ellie. And Ellie McGee is one of the ones that really helped me start banging on the piano. Because he helped me learn that song. Oh, baby, what you gonna do? That was George. That was Ellie. And William, his brother, his older brother. He was older than William, and he's older than George. And he played the piano. And so I learned, I forgot about it. Ellie was going to help me sing and learn the piano and play the songs and start playing some of the little changes that the 12-bar changes, because there wasn't a whole lot in those gospel songs with turnarounds and all that stuff. It was the basic. And they could sing harmony, and then it's on that piano. I can see it in my head now. Ellie on that piano, and the rest of them standing up in the living room singing, and my dad and my mom listening to them, with us and the kids. All 7 of us watching them sing, and going, wow. And this is before we hit the talent show thing, man. Before we really start popping off, winning these talent shows.
So you would say this was like 61, 62?
So, yeah, right. Exactly.
Hey, listen, Brother Batiste, let's put a pause in this. Right, I got to go pick up my kids right now. Let's do set 3 next week on Tuesday if you want.
Yeah, so I need to, for me, I'm just my interest to find out, what your listeners think and to get a little feedback and find out, what they think of a self-taught musician that this empire has built out of through a connection, a race relation connection with my father buying that piano in the 40s from this beautiful white lady.
No, I want to devote like the entire session to that.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah, that hits home.
Did you get my piece, Jacob, about John on MSNBC? Did you pick that up?
I got the one that you sent. Let's see.
It's John Batiste and R.A. Milberg. It aired last night.
Yeah, I know. It aired last night?
Yeah. Because I saw it last night myself for the first time. And it came on the 6 o'clock MSNBC News with Ari.
Ari Melber, yeah. Wow, mad props to him for hooking that up. I got to check. This is my listening on. Yeah.
And when it comes on, he said, John, we went into your archive. We went into the archive. And the first clip they showed was me playing my guitar with John on the congas, Russell on the drums, Damon on the big bongos, and Michael, John's father, playing the bass, and Paul, my brother Paul, playing lead.
Dude, yeah, he's got the big name, but the family is the best.
Yeah, you pull it up, you'll see the family. You see John coming up in this family, right? That was a nice piece last night because he already did a great job of interviewing John, and as I said, it showed the family. I said, look at myself, I'm back on national TV again. And I got a flat top on that one, but almost like what I had on Saturday Night Live.
I'm going to check it right now, man.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, man, good to hear you, brother.
All right, Jake, be blessed.
Be blessed. Take care.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.